Gauranga or Gauri Sagori Shri Prabhupada. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, where? Pardon? Chapter 11, Canto 6, 18. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 11, Text 18. Ato hare me kulishena vira harta pramatyaiva shiro yadiha tatra nrano bhutapalim vidhaya manasvinam padarajah prapatsye. Ato hare me kulishena vira artha pramatyaiva shiro yadiha tatrandra bhutabalim vidhaya manasvinam padarajah prapatsye. Ato hare me kulishena vira artha pramatyaiva shiro yadiha tatrandrino bhutapalim vidhaya manasvinam padarajah prapatsye. Ato hare me kulishena vira artha pramatyaiva shiro yadiha tatrandrino bhutapalim vidhaya manasvinam padarajah prapatsye. Atho, otherwise, Hare, O King Indra, may of me, Kuli Shena, by your thunderbolt, Veera, O great hero, Artha, you cut off, Pramatya, destroying my army, Eva, certainly, Shiraha, head, Yadi, if, Iha, in this battle, Tatra, in that case, Andranaha, relieved of all debts, in this material world. Bhutabalim, a presentation for all living entities. Vidhaya, arranging. Manasvinam, O great sages like Narada Muni. Padarajaha, the dust of the lotus feet. Prapsaye, I shall receive. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, HH Bhakti Vinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation, but if in this battle you cut off my head with your thunderbolt and kill my soldiers, O Indra, O great hero, I shall take pleasure in offering my body to other living entities such as jackals and vultures. I shall thus be relieved of my obligation to the reactions of my karma, and my fortune will be to receive the dust from the lotus feet of great devotees like Narada Muni. Purport: Shri Narottam Das Thakur sings, Ye chai gochani yara mui tara das tandu sabhara padarenu mora panchagras. I am the servant of the 6 Goswamis, and the dust of their lotus feet provides my 5 kinds of food. A Vaishnava always desires the dust of the lotus feet of previous acharyas and the Vaishnavas. Prasurah was certain that he would be killed in the battle with Indra, because this was the desire of Lord Vishnu. He was prepared for death because he knew that after his death he was destined to return home back to Godhead. This is a great destination, and it is achieved by the grace of a Vaishnava. Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistare Paiche Keba. No one has ever gone back to Godhead without being favored by a Vaishnava. In this verse, therefore, we find the words Manasvinam Pada Rajahat Prapatsye. I shall receive the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees. The word Manasvinam refers to great devotees who always think of Krishna. They are always peaceful thinking of Krishna, and therefore they are called Dhira. The best example of such a devotee is Narada Muni. If one receives the dust of the lotus feet of a Manasvi, a great devotee, he certainly returns home back to Godhead. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyameshwaram. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Transcendental Qualities of Prasurah is the title of this chapter. It is strange that an Asura will have transcendental qualities. This is what we will immediately think. But the chapter's title is the Transcendental Qualities of Prasurah. So, Asuras Tat Viparyayaha, Krishna describes in the 14th chapter, I think 14th chapter, the demoniac and divine natures. He describes that there are 2 types of people. Dvau bhuta sarga loke asmin deva asure evacha. 2 types of people, devas and asuras. And the devas are inclined to the Supreme Lord to follow his instructions. Asuras tad viparyayaha. Meaning of asura means he goes against the instruction of the Lord. That is the definition of an asura. Here it is mentioned that an asura is having transcendental qualities. And not just transcendental qualities, his devotional qualities. He is saying to Indra, if you know the history of Prasurah is actually Chitraketu, the great king Chitraketu, who did not have any children. He had so many millions of wives. And then finally, by the mercy of Angira Muni and Narada Muni, he gets to have a child under some conditions, and the child disappears, dies away, puts Chitraketu in great lamentation. And Chitraketu learns a very powerful lesson because his son comes back to life into the body and speaks to him in a very, very different way. And he comes to understand reality, that nobody belongs to me. And then he becomes very wise and he becomes a wonderful devotee who completely dedicates his life to Sankarshana, Anantadev, and he actually goes and sees Anantadev face to face. That is also mentioned, such a great devotee. And he seems to have made some very nice comment about Shiva and Parvati, and Lord Shiva carrying Parvati on her, keeping Parvati on her thighs. And in this way, he passed some amazing good comment only. It was misunderstood by Parvati. And she cursed him to be born in an Asuric body like this. But to see the power of devotional service, that even though you have a curse to be an Asura, you continue to be a devotee. This is very amazing, that you have a Asuric body, maybe it looks different, but you are, by Krishna's arrangement, a devotee at heart. So the story is that Indra makes a lot of mistakes. He offends his guru Brihaspati, loses guru. Then he goes to Brahma. Brahma advises him, you have done something very wrong. Better, because before you become too weak, having offended your guru, you become weak. And the Asuras know about it. They are very strong because they obey Shukracharya, their guru. So they understood that and they attacked. And then they got beaten up like nothing, the Devas. So they went back to Brahma with all broken legs and broken hands and everything. And they cried to him. And then he said, what can I do now? You did this wrong. Brihaspati is not with you. If you lose your guru's blessing, then you become very weak. So then he said, temporarily you accept so and so as Guru Vishwarupa, the son of Twashta. So Vishwarupa was accepted, but you must know that Vishwarupa is inclined to the demigods. Inclined to the Asuras. So from his mother's side, he has got Asuric lineage. From his father's side, he has got Daivic lineage. So in this way, Vishwarupa was your last, but cannot do anything. Some conditions are there. And Vishwarupa was secretly offering. He did everything for Indra, sacrifice and everything, but he was secretly offering Asuras also. You see how people are. That's the same thing. In the demigods world also, it's the same thing. Self-interest, a selfish interest, partiality, bias, and wanting to do something on your own, the rasa of doing something against the authority. All these things are there. And all these mischief brings a lot of trouble to people. We don't understand. But Vishwarupa did that on the side. My mother's side, I want to do something. Indra came to know about it. Indra came and cut off his head. His head, he had 3 heads, Vishwarupa. He cut off his head. And all the 3 heads turned into patriarchs and something. That was a very big Brahma Hatya he did, killing a Brahmana. So lots of things happened. The sinful activities he gave to human beings, in the form of women take menstruation, and the Bhumi takes deserts. Deserts all around the dry areas, and the trees took sap, white sap that come, and water takes bubbles on it. These are all curse of Indra. That's why in the puja department, whenever they fill up, they will avoid the bubbles. Normally not supposed to consume it. Of course, in the world outside, they consume only bubbles. Frothy, something they will eat it. Anyway, that's apart. These are curses, and Indra went through all these things. And now again, they got attacked. What to do? So the Twashta became very disturbed. My son has been killed by Indra. So he produced this person, Prasurah, by his sacrifices. But he made a mistake. Enemy of Indra he produced. He made a small mistake in the way he mentioned it. And Prasurah appeared. And in the meantime, Indra, he was told, they all prayed to Vishnu and all that. And Vishnu told that the way to kill this Vitrasura is, they have produced a powerful demon now, Twashta, and you have no hope. And then Vishnu's advised, after the austerities of Indra and everything, he advised that you should go to Dadichi. Dadichi is a selfless person. He is my devotee. And you should ask him to give his body to you. From his body's bones, you should make this thunderbolt weapon. And that you use for Prasurah. It's a great story. So many things happening. So you'll be thinking it's an amazing story. What all happening? Some Asura, and actually he's a devotee, and somebody's bones are taken and weapon is made. Heat has to be used to kill him. Actually, Krishna keeps everybody very busy in the material world because we have so many material desires. And according to that, he keeps you busy. Otherwise, you'll do some mischief. So, to me, it looks like, Indra was really engaged by Krishna. Go to Dadichi, ask him for his thing, make out of his bones this, that, so many things. Anyway, he did. Life becomes very complicated if you're not a devotee. If you're a devotee, life is actually pretty simple. Krishna to be worshipped, service to him to be done, and remain peaceful. But you have all these extracurricular activities. You want to do this, you want to offer to the demon side a little bit here, I want a little extra flirting around here with so and so, I want to do that, this, life becomes complicated. And then you are engaged in various different ways, by material nature, by all sorts of situations and circumstances. So Indra, he got this, he went to Dadichi, and there's a very nice conversation with Dadichi. Dadichi is such a devout devotee, but he wanted to test Indra a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to give myself. So he said, why will I do that? Everybody has got their own self-interest like you. I also have got why will I give my body for the demigods? Tell me why. And put it Indra into great anxiety. But Vishnu has already told, so why is you? I'll not give. And the conversation is so interesting. And then finally, he tells that this is what I did. Anyway, we don't have time to discuss the conversation, but Dadichi will give his body, and out of that bones of Dadichi will be made this weapon for Indra. And here is Indra fighting with Prasurah on the battlefield. This is the background story. It's a long story. I've cut it short in many places just to put the scene in place. Now, Vritrasura is very powerful. He is fooling around with Indra. He gave one shot to Airavata, and then he did something to Indra, and Indra became very morose and very disturbed. From the beginning, I am having some problem or the other. Even Vishnu has given a weapon, now this is another challenge. How do I do it. How is it? This person is so massive. It's mentioned that he is very huge and very powerful, Prasurah. So the interesting thing is, Prasurah is pleasing Indra. Why? Because he is already a devotee. At heart, inside, he's a devotee. So he's not afraid of anything or anybody. This is what Lord Shiva told Parvati. Swarga apavarga narikeshu tu api tulyartha darshana hai. Narayana parayana sarve na kutaschana bibhyati. These people who are devotees of Narayana, they have no fear. Bibhyati, no bhaya. Swarga apavarga narikeshu. You throw them in hell, throw them in heaven. Api tulyartha. They don't care for it. Api tulyartha darshana. Why? Because of the strength of their devotion, they will go anywhere and perform their devotional service in any situation and circumstances and be very happy. This is what is very irritating for materialists, to see that devotees are smiling, chanting Hare Krishna, dancing in this Harinam Sankirtan, eating prasadam and having a good time. Actually, having a very good time. Your mind gets occupied with all sorts of anxieties. But to the people outside, they see you as, I want to live like this. I have no botheration. I don't have to go to a job. I don't have to work. I don't have to be anxious about what my boss said, what my wife said, what my husband said, what my children demand. Nothing. I can chant Hare Krishna. But inside a devotee's mind, other things will be there. He's not able to really enjoy his situation. But perception is that definitely you're having a good time. And if you look at your life, it is very good in quality. It's simple, purposeful. So here Lord Shiva is telling, what is the use of your curse on Chitraketu? It did not affect him because he is situated on a transcendental plane of devotional service. And he will throw him in hell because Chitraketu will nicely accept it. Parvati will say, okay, so be it. I'll go. There's no difference for me. Material, geographical locations or material situations or different bodies doesn't make a difference to a devotee, is what you can see here. As Prasurah, he knows that he is, okay, Dadichi's bones, you made something, it seems. And Vishnu is given special blessing and I'm supposed to die out of it. So he knows that also. I'm going to die out of Indra's weapon made from Dadichi's bones. I am going to go back to Godhead. So what I have to worry about? I'm going to go back to God. Everything is already reserved and everything is fine. It's just time that is separating. So you can imagine a person who knows his destination, has got full security, and he's the devotee, and he knows what's going to happen next, and he's going to go back to Godhead. What will be his attitude? So Indra, on the other side, is full of anxiety. My position, this will happen, that will happen. He's full of anxiety. He is not slated to go back to Godhead. So Vritrasura is teasing Indra because he has so many desires. He has so many desires. That's why this conversation is very interesting. Although I am cursed by Parvati and I am in an Asura's body and I am supposed to die by your action on me, I am still the happier person than you. He will openly say that to him. I will die, I'll go back to God. Go, why don't you pull out that weapon and finish me fast? Why don't you kill me fast? Let me go back to Godhead. And you will stay here and you will, Ramba, Kilotama, Menaka will dance and you'll have somebody else fighting with you. Somebody else will try to overthrow you. And you have got a real one hell of a life ahead. I'm very sad for you. Please go ahead and shoot me, kill me. He's talking like this. And Indra is getting really disturbed. Why? He is also a devotee. The thing is, he is also a devotee. But he's not making it very good at devotional service. He's very disturbed with so many material desires. He definitely knows Krishna is Supreme Personality of God and Krishna should worship now, but he's got all sorts of attachments filled with desires. You can see the same thing happening inside ISKCON also. It happens everywhere. You can see Narada Muni and Daksha, the conversation is Daksha is getting real hot with Narada Muni. I just sent your sons back to God. That's the purpose of life. You know it very well. Why are you fighting with me? May I curse you? Yes, it's a whole talk between two devotees actually. One very exalted, pure devotee, another one still making it up. Sadhaka. He actually saw Vishnu. Daksha is able to see Vishnu and take benediction from him. I want to be a Prajapati. I want to do this seva very nicely. He said, oh, do it. And here comes Narada Muni and he's completely put a spanner in the works. But we're supposed to do a duty, yaar. Why did you do this? You're not supposed to do this. No, I know my duty very well. I'm going to try to come and send you also back to God. I came for that. Actually, he knows very well. And it's the same Vishnu doing this through both of them. To him, he's telling, populate the universe. And then to Narada Muni, he's inspiring him, send them back to God. What Daksha is doing is making it difficult for Daksha. But what is priority? Same way you see Prasurah and Indra's conversation is a conversation between a materialistic devotee and a pure devotee. Whatever you may do, it does not matter to me. Then you get very irritated. How dare you be like that? Why I am alone suffering like this and I got all these anxieties and everything. Oh, you are alone. Go ahead, shoot me fast and going back to God. So it's a very amazing, unique situation. That for one, Prasurah is supposedly a demon, is an asura. And inside he is a devotee. At heart. At heart he is a devotee. So here you will see he's saying, but if in this battle you cut off my head with your thunderbolt and kill my soldiers, O Indra, O great hero, I shall take great pleasure in offering my body to other living entities such as jackals and vultures. He's glorifying that you're going to kill me and I'll be very happy to donate my body to jackals and vultures. I shall thus be relieved of my obligations to the reactions of my karma. And my fortune will be to receive the dust from the lotus feet of great devotees like Narada Muni. This is what is going to happen to me. But what about you? What's going to happen to you? You're going to occupy the throne again and you're going to suffer so many things. So you can imagine how Indra became very morose and very angry because sin personified was chasing him and he hid inside the stem of a lotus for so many years. And then he's relieved a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. And that is why I'm sure in the mind of Indra, why is this like this? Why is it like this? Sometimes we also wonder, why is it like this? That my devotional service is so difficult to do. And somebody else's devotional service is very easy. They come and they wave the lamp in front of the deity, smile at everybody, give prasadam to everybody, and they just go. But my service is like this. Why? Bhakti Vinoda Swami Prabhupada also could have taught like that. All others, disciples, Bhaktisiddhanta Swami never gave them any instruction like this to me. He said, go to the Western world and preach. Why it is like this? He didn't think like that. He was thinking, I must satisfy my Guru. He wouldn't have given an instruction if it was not possible. It is possible. I must do it. And he goes and does it. Great endeavor he puts at an advanced age without complaining, just reveling in that chance to execute that devotional service very positively. And he was very successful. He was very successful because he was sincerely attached to executing the duty given to him by his Guru, although it seemed impossible to do it. It seemed impossible to do it. This is the meaning of Prabhupada telling to Rameshwar Prabhu when he said that it's impossible to produce the Chaitanya Charitamrita within 2 months. Not only that, Prabhupada, all the remaining volumes of the Bhagavatam also you produce within 2 months. And he stood, impossible. He told this to Prabhupada. I know it is not possible. And Prabhupada turned to him and said, impossible is a word found in the fool's dictionary. Because in my life, I have seen it, it's possible. I came here to spread the Krishna conscious movement. So let's give it a try for whatever it is worth. And what is totally impossible became possible. Became possible. So if you think it is not possible, then it is not going to be possible. If you think it is Krishna's service and I must go and try to do something, definitely by Krishna's mercy it will happen. The impossible becomes possible. If you think like that and you go ahead and do in a surrendered mode, it happens. And it did happen like that. He produced it within 2 months, the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. We heard from him when we were releasing the Malayalam Chaitanya Charitamrita. He came online and he said, Maharaj, I'm very, very happy to be with you. Because Prabhupada will be very pleased with you. And then I told him, no, I took 5 years to produce it. That doesn't matter. The impossible becoming possible. Here, it is impossible for an asura to be a devotee. It is going on. And Indra must be wondering like nothing. How is this person so internally settled and happy? Surrendered to Krishna. Let anything happen, I am Krishna's. Whatever happens, I completely depend on the Supreme Personality of God. Once you settle like that, and you don't worry and endeavor anymore, you are very peaceful, you're very happy. Bhagavatam in the 12th canto describes, 11th canto describes Pingala the prostitute. The lessons learned from Pingala the prostitute. Very interesting. The Bhagavatam is filled with very amazing observations and learnings and lessons. I've never heard anything like this anywhere. It's about a prostitute, and this sadhu is learning by watching the prostitute. This I can learn from the prostitute. What did he learn from the prostitute? He saw that the prostitute is, will I get a customer today? Will I get my desires satisfied? Will I get money? And so she's dressed herself nicely. She's standing in the doorway, posing, doing this, doing that, everything. And no customer is getting attracted. Then she tries and she tries and she tries. Then she comes back and she says, why am I doing this? Waiting for somebody's acknowledgement, dependent on others. One fine day it happened to her because she didn't get any client. So she said, if only I could just do the same thing for Krishna. She's a devotee. If only I could do this for Krishna, how life would have been. I'm just not surrendered to Krishna. I'm dependent on the external situation. And it's making me morose when I don't get a client. It should not be like that. I am, after all, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Krishna. He is my Father. Why am I not depending on Him? It's foolish for me to do this. This is the problem with me. She had an amazing realization. All my problems and anxieties are because I am not surrendering to Krishna. So she thought, whatever you want, let it happen. I'm willing to accept. And it is mentioned that is the first night she slept properly. Sukham Sushwapa Pingala. It is mentioned. Very happily she slept. Not waiting for a client or not sleeping with a customer or anything like that. That night she slept the best. Sukham Sushwapa Pingala. By whatever, let it happen. I am surrendered to whatever Krishna, prepares for me. That is best for me. Krishna knows best. When a person is surrendered, it is not that he is not going through the things that you and me are going through. He is going through, but his response is very different. He just takes it as Krishna's mercy. He just accepts it as Krishna's mercy. Prasurah is like that. He is resigned to Krishna. I am going to go back to Godhead. It's already written. I am going to die. He didn't think like that at all. He didn't think like that at all. No, I'm going back to Godhead. Death becomes insignificant if you know you're going back to God. What is death? Because you're not going to come back again. It's not called death. It can only be called liberation. Because after that, you're going back. So for Indra, he was going to die. For Vritrasura, he's going back to Godhead. So he's telling him, go ahead, shoot me. Let me finish. Let me go back. Right? Because he's surrendered to the situation. This is the meaning of Krishna saying, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja. We hold back on our surrender. We just try this and that together. We are not very confident. We don't have enough faith in what Krishna has mentioned. This does not mean you should do something foolish. Prasurah was surrendered. Bhakti Vinoda Swami Prabhupada was surrendered. That prostitute Pingala surrendered. Prahlad was surrendered. Jai Jagannath Baladev Shubhadramayi ki. Right? All of these are decided. That's it. I don't think back. I don't have to look back. This is what it's going to be. Whatever Krishna desires for me is the best. I will chant Hare Krishna. I'll continue my service. Whether my body, mind, words, whatever I can do for Krishna, it's by Krishna's mercy. When you're surrendered, then you know your place. This is the meaning of prasanna manaso. The Bhagavatam speaks about very happy inside. Why? I'm going to be taken care of. I'm going to be taken care of. I know Krishna will take care of me. Very confident. This is the principle of surrender. Rakshishyatiti vishvaso goptritve varnam tata atmanikshepa karpanyi. We cannot just by words only say I'm surrendered. We should actually practice that from deep inside. Execute it from inside. Surrender, prapannam, prapanarthi, ashraya, taking shelter of the Lord. This is an activity that the spirit soul can do uniquely. What is it that Vritrasura had in him that he was able to even tease Indra like a small boy? It made him feel like a real small, insignificant person. He's Indra, king of heaven. All the demigods work under him. He's got such power, so powerful. And in front of this Asura, he's a nobody. And he's saying that, yes, you're going to win the war. You're going to win the war, but I am the one who's going to be successful. You can win the war, but you can lose on your personal spiritual development. Externally, you can win a great war in this world. But if you do not internally edify yourself, what is the use of that external success? That we can understand here. Vritrasura is going to lose the war. He's going to die. I'm a warrior, I'm a Kshatriya, it's very bad. No, I'm not bothered at all. Why? I'm going back to Godhead. Therefore, I can offer myself in any way. So a devotee, he knows for sure that Krishna will protect him. Therefore, he is absorbed in service to Krishna. Therefore, he can take risks for Krishna. Therefore, he can go ahead and do many things for Krishna. Because he is surrendered, because he is secure, because he has full, firm faith. He knows this is the reality for sure. He has arrived at a position of complete conviction. So these are all not ordinary things that people can do in this world. Everybody is sitting and speculating as to what is the reality. Everybody is afraid of accepting a different reality apart from the illusory so-called material manifestation, wherein they feel in a comfort zone, where they are lulled into a false sense of security, into thinking that this is permanent, this will last forever. It's great illusion. And you think there you are secure. But a devotee, you can see, Vritrasura, he is based on a different security deep inside him. It's a security that you cannot see. It's a security born out of devotional surrender to Krishna. And this is very unique relationship between Krishna and his surrendered devotee. Many things externally may not look nice, but the devotee is in complete communion with Krishna. So we can see this here in Prasurah's life. So beautifully explained here by Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, and very wonderfully commented here by Prabhupada. All permutations and combinations are possible. You can have a devotee inside an asuric body, and he can perform externally as an asura, as an enemy of Indra, supposedly an enemy of Indra, and Indra is killing him. But who is finally successful? Prasurah goes back to power. Right? This is the meaning of Lord Shiva telling, Swarga apavarga narakeshu api tulyartha darshina. So we should think about these things, how devotional service is so different from everything in this world, how it is so uniquely different, and how our devotional service need not at all get in any way disturbed by the material situation, unless you choose to disturb it with the material situation. Many times devotees take decisions like that. Because of this, I am not doing this. No, you want to link it up like that. You want to have an excuse. You can do devotional service on any situation and circumstance, because the absolute truth and the relativity and the relative nature of this world, they have got nothing to do with each other. But you're trying to relate it. You're trying to hook on to it, and you're foolishly spoiling your devotional service. But Prasurah here and Indra is a classic example of this. How to adjust the absolute and the relative in your life. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubayor abhi drishto antastu anyos tattvadarshibhi. Very amazing philosophical shloka. Asat and Sat, how to balance it. How to balance the limited temporary material realm and our existence in it and our duties in it with the absolute transcendental realm of Krishna consciousness, which is important. And how do we maintain that importance? How do we balance it? That you can see in the lives of these amazing, wonderful devotees. They know how to, they know the priorities under any situation and circumstance. They know how to balance, throw them in any situation, they know how to do it. You know, a cat, when I discovered this, I remember in my younger days, my brother told me it was cat menace, and then we were driving the cats away. And then he threw the cat, and then I said, don't do that. It'll die. He said, no, you throw a cat anyway, it'll land on its 4 feet. Really? Yeah. Or you put it, it'll land on its 4 feet. It'll adjust itself and land. He said, they are very unique. I never knew that at that time. I learned it. However you throw it, it'll land on its 4 feet very softly and just walk off. So devotees are like that. Whatever you do to them, they will land up taking shelter of Krishna more intensely and safeguard themselves in Krishna consciousness. This is the blessing of Krishna. Only by Krishna's blessing can you become so much secure and unaffected by the material world around you. So that is why a devotee is very happy, irrespective of whatever happens to him externally. His enthusiasm to serve Krishna, his enthusiasm for maintaining his relationship with Krishna, his realizations in Krishna consciousness, all that far surpasses material situation. Then you know this person is a real devotee. You throw him anywhere, in whichever situation, Swarga, Apavarga, Narikeshu, Itulyartha Darshana, they will come out of it. Why? Because of their devotion to Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki. Have a meeting. Any question or comment? Yeah. Two things. First, two examples. Prabhupada and Rameshwar. Similarly, Indra teasing, well, Buddha's was teasing Indra coming killing him. Similarly, devotional life is actually very simple. But for me personally, I like the marriage it does the free of full plus obviously the this executing process. But other பண்றதுக்கு வந்து it's a question or a comment? Just be simple. How can I make it simple? Be simple. Is it something very difficult? Nobody asked you to do like that. Why are you putting it in that platform? It is not like that. You don't have to accept the same perception that somebody else who does not know about devotional service has. You don't have to have the same perception. You are free to render service to Krishna. You are free to render service to Krishna. And maybe somebody else does not know, may oppose it. Can't stop me. Because I won't stop. Because it's very natural to do devotional service. Because I'm just connecting with my Supreme Father and I'm serving Him. Nobody can tell me to stop it. If you know this truth, then you will also not feel, I'm doing devotional service under pressure. I'm not doing under pressure. The reality is, this is all there is. There is no other reality. They don't know, these people don't know, that person does not. So he may look at me differently. But if I also map that same thing on my head, then I am no different from that other person. Then what is the use of devotional service? So, it's your choice how you look at it. You don't have to accept the same type of perception of somebody else. It's not your perception. Why does somebody else's perception become your perception? When you know the truth, when you read Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavad, and you know the truth, why do you have to accept that? Ask yourself this question. You don't have to do everything the same way that other people do. You have to look at it from the viewpoint of Bhagavad Gita, from the viewpoint of Shastra, Sadhu, Guru. That you should maintain. Any other question or comment? Om Tat Sat. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nittai Gaura Premanande.